Hey there, Amy. I wanted to make you a video in response to your sales question. It was so good. I was thinking a lot about it over the weekend and how to respond, and I wanted to type so much I realized I should just make you a video instead. So there's 4 parts to the response I would say. So the first question I'd want to know if I were coaching you or was having this conversation with you is, what is it are you committed to right now as a coach? This is a sort of foundational question we don't often ask when we're doing enrollment, but what are we committed to? So there are certain times in my practice where I'm committed to raising my fees. And when I'm committed to charging more or making bigger proposals, then I will stick to those prices kind of no matter what. And that's really helpful because when people say like, oh, that was more than I thought it would be, there's a certain set of processes or techniques or strategies I might use if I'm sticking to that particular price, and a different set of strategies I might use or a different approach to these strategies I might use if I'm not committed to that. So the first question for you to really ask is, what are you committed to? Are you committed to having particularly high fees, or are you committed to signing up clients, right? And neither one is better than the other. Most coaches, I think, have to alternate between this one and this one from time to time. Sometimes I'm committed to higher fees. Sometimes I'm committed to being flexible. Sometimes I'm not, I'm unsure, and I'll go between the two, but it's really helpful to know what are you committed to. So right now, what are you committed to? Signing up clients or getting particular fees? Because the two can work together, but are often mutually exclusive. That's the first question you need to answer. The second thing I would go to is I would go to 2 particular questions. So one, I would ask her, like, what was she expecting? Like, what price was she expecting? How much did she think this was going to cost? It's helpful for you to know, like, was she expecting 100 and you said 1,000, or was she expecting 500 and you said 750? Like, what is the gap there for her? And then also, after you ask her what she was expecting, ask her, well, what were you hoping to get for that amount? Like, what did you imagine you would get for that? It gives you a concept of like what her needs and understanding are, what her expectations are as a client, which is helpful not only for you to identify the kinds of people you're talking to and the people in your market, what they want, but also in particular, what is she imagining is possible? Because if you can give her much more than she thought was possible, she might be willing to pay more, right? Or you would know a lot about what those expectations were about. And so that's the first question I would ask. The second question I would ask is, what would you need to know you were going to get to make my price an easy yes? It's a question I've heard from Rich Litvin and Christina Berkeley. It's a great question to find out, what is it they really, really want that would make it easier for them to say yes to your price? They may say, I need to know I'd make all the money back, like within 30 days. I'd need to know that I could get a loan, right? Or it could be like, I would need to know you could do these things in my relationship. So that gives you a real clear understanding of the value that you would need to deliver to have them say yes. And is that possible for you, right? Is that a reasonable expectation? Or maybe they have their own limitations on what they think is possible. I usually do those 2 questions in a different variation. If people say no to me, especially around price, I'll usually do the, what were you hoping to pay and what would you expect to get for that amount of money, or hope to get for that amount of money? And also then, what would you need to, what would you want to get to know, what would you need to know you would get to make the price that I've offered an easy yes for you? And I use those to then develop particular plans or strategies based upon what the person is saying to me. So if I'm committed to having my fees, I'm going to work on how do I show the person that they're going to get this thing that they want to get, so it's an easy yes for them, right? If I'm committed to being flexible, I might change my if I'm committed to getting clients, enrolling clients in my business right now, I might change this to mold or match what that person wants. Oh, okay, well maybe we could do a couple calls a month for $550 a month, or maybe we should do, I'll do a retreat with you, and we'll do over the course of a day, and then you can pay what you want over the course of 3 months for that retreat. So again, depending on what you're flexible on. The third question is really getting clear before your call with this person is, did you do a good job really creating clear implications for their choice as well as payoff? So often when we do coaching, we get really clear about people's implicit needs, but we don't often get them clear to have explicit needs. An implicit need is like, the W train runs really slow and it's frustrating. That's an implicit need. An explicit need was like, I really need to get to this meeting on time, and I'm really worried about the W train because if I take it, then I'm going to be late to my meeting. That's an explicit need. It's something I need and I'm willing to take action on. So it's possible on your call you've only worked to identify this person's implicit needs and not their explicit needs, which are the things they are frustrated with, struggling with, or that they want and are also willing to take action on. So one way to build up implicit needs is to find out what are the implications if they don't take action or on this particular thing. So for example, I want to start a new business, but I'm afraid because I'm thinking about having kids in a couple of years, and what if I don't, make enough, what if I don't make enough money in these couple of years to have a kid? So that might be, sort of an objection about why they wouldn't want to hire you. But you could also frame this as, well, you only have these 2 years to not have before you have a kid to make this move. So if you don't do it now, do you think it will get easier or harder if you don't take that action now? What effect do you think it'll have on your children if you go after your dreams or don't go after your dreams? What effect do you think it might have on your relationship if you kind of keep this job that makes you unhappy and you bring that stress home from work? What effects might that have on your health? So again, taking this one particular problem and looking at what are the implications of not taking action throughout this whole process? Because people tend to think of the implications of not taking action as very small, and often they're much bigger. The other side of that is, what is the payoff? What is the implication of taking action? If you take action now, how could this benefit you over years and years and years? We do a pretty good job of this in coaching as well, talking about the benefits of taking action. We often don't really think about, well, what are the implications? Like, if you start a business now, how could that positively affect your children? How could that positively affect your relationship? How could it affect you in 20, 30, 40 years if you take this action now? So thinking about the implications, both negative and positive, to this person committing to the action that you're going to support them on, and thinking about what are some questions that would help them understand those implications on the negative and understand the implications on the positive. Now, I'd start with the negative and move to the positive. You can play around with molding them together, but I would really think before this call, what are the questions that would help draw out the implications? And even think for yourself, what are the implications for this person taking action now versus not taking action now? What are the costs of not taking action? And what are the benefits of taking action? Getting clear on those yourself and bringing those to the call prepared so you can actually really draw out these implications. The last thing you really want to look at is, what is this person committing to? So if they're taking action, what is it exactly are they committing to? What's the clear, powerful vision? What is the benefit? What are the things that this person is committing to in their being and in their doing by taking this action? And what are they going to commit to if they're not doing that? We often see the commitment as like, oh, I'm doing this thing and that's great and that's awesome, and I'm doing this other thing which is kind of crappy and bad, right? And sometimes this commitment over here can be really powerful. I've had clients say, I'm not committed to this because I want to save money for my child's college. That's a powerful commitment. And if you can have her leave this person, leave this conversation with a powerful commitment to something, that's going to be a better process for her. So have her get really clear on, if you're not committing to coaching, what are you committing to? Because committing to like just doing the same thing over and over again probably isn't that exciting, but maybe there is a really clear commitment she's making. And if you push her on this commitment, on what she is really committing to, she might decide, oh, actually coaching is the right commitment, right? And if she doesn't, she may find something else she's really powerfully committed to, which means you're still serving her really, really powerfully. So those are my recommendations, is looking at those 4 things. 1, what are you committed to? Raising particular fees, signing clients, bringing some cash into your business. What are you most committed to right now? What is your number 1 top priority? Number 2, these 2 questions. What did you expect? And what were you hoping to get for that amount of money? And 2, what would you need to know you would get for the amount of money that I'm charging? 3, what are the implications of her saying no to the coaching and not taking action? What are the payoff? What are the possibilities that become available to her if she does take action? And thinking about those in advance, and maybe even preparing some questions in advance to help guide that process. And then 4, thinking about, what is she committed to? What will she be committing to when she commits to the coaching, and what will she be committing to if she's not committed to the coaching? And really thinking about those 2 in a really deep way. So I hope that's helpful. Please let us know how that process goes, and good luck. I'm sure whatever you do will be great, and whatever you do, really think about this as a practice opportunity. Every time you enroll, every time you go through this process, you have a practice opportunity, and this is an incredible chance for you to practice enrollment and practice working with what people are committed to. Good luck.